Module 1, Lesson 27, How to Manage Depth of Field.
In this lesson, I'll teach you more about depth of field and how you can control it.
Depth of field is the amount of your photo which is an acceptably sharp focus. When you focus on a point, the whole plane that point is on, which is parallel to your camera sensor, will be in focus. A certain amount closer to and further from your camera will also be acceptably sharp. How much is sharp is referred to as the depth of field in a photo. There are a few different ways you can control the depth of field. Your aperture setting is one aspect that controls depth of field. The wider your aperture, the lower your f-stop number, the shallower your depth of field will be. Using narrower aperture settings, higher f-stop numbers, will mean you have a deeper depth of field and more of your photo will be in focus. I touched on this back in Lesson 13. Your choice of lens focal length also has an influence on the appearance of the depth of field. Wider angle lenses produce photos that look to have more in focus at any given aperture than tele lenses taking the same photo with the same aperture settings. The longer your lens, the shallower the depth of field will appear. Distance also factors into depth of field. The closer you are to your subject, the shallower the depth of field will be. The further back from your subject, the more you will have an acceptably sharp focus at any given aperture. That's basically all there is to depth of field. But it really is not that simple. It takes a lot of practice to really manage depth of field well. You'll need to be in control of your camera and choose your lens focal length carefully to get all the parts of the equation to add up to the result that you want. How much do you want in sharp focus? By your choice of aperture, lens, and the distance you are from your subject will control the depth of field in every photo you take. This is an important aspect of your creative control and can make or break a photo. We never really see shallow depth of field with our eyes. So when we make images with very blurred backgrounds, they are not like we naturally see. Module 1, Photography Course Challenge number 27. The aim of this challenge is to teach you how you can control depth of field. Choose your lens with the widest aperture setting that can be used at 50mm. So either a 50mm prime or a zoom you can set at 50mm. Choose a subject where you have 3 or more objects which are about the same distance apart. You could photograph trees in the local park or line up 3 bottles or other objects on a table. Position yourself slightly to one side of the lineup so you can see each of the items. With your aperture set to the lowest f-stop number, the widest it can open, focus on the object closest to you and take a photo. Then focus on the next object and then the last one, making photos each time. Now choose an f-stop that's in about the middle of the range on your lens, maybe around f8, and repeat the 3 photos. Then repeat again using the highest f-stop number on your lens. You may need to use a tripod or choose a higher ISO setting when you're using the narrowest aperture setting to avoid having your shutter speed go too slow. You can repeat all 3 series of photos with a wider lens and a tele lens if you have time.
As always, take good notes about what you're doing, what you're observing and what you're thinking about as you're taking the photos. This will help you more purposefully compare your images when you're looking at them on your computer.
Key points from this lesson are: depth of field is the amount of your photo which is an acceptably sharp focus. Your aperture setting is one aspect that controls depth of field. Your choice of lens focal length also has an influence on the appearance of the depth of field. Distance from camera to subject and subject to background also affects depth of field.